What's going on, guys? John Kelly here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how I pack my backpack, the things I take on a 3-day trip. This past weekend, I had just been at Grayson Highlands down in Virginia. It was an awesome trip. Got to do some great hiking, got to see some beautiful sights. I didn't get to see the ponies. Major letdown. But now that I'm back, it's time to unpack my backpack. So I decided instead of just unpacking it, I'm gonna unpack it for you guys so you can see how it is I store everything in my backpack and why I do it. Let's get to it. But before we get going, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It's gonna be right down here so you can find out anytime one of these videos drops. And if you like the video, which I really hope you like the video, give it the old thumbs up and let me know what you think. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here's my backpack. This is my Ohm 2.0 by ULA. If you want to find out my actual review on this backpack, you can go to the link that's going to be right up here, and you can watch that video and see why it is that this is my favorite backpack in the world. Let's start off by looking right here at the outside of the pack, and the first thing you see is this satellite communicator. This is the Zoleo satellite communicator. This is an awesome piece of gear that I was turned on to by Devin Ashby, and I will say I've really enjoyed using this. It's one of the easiest interfaces I've ever seen, and I'm not going to talk much more about it because there is a review coming up soon, so be sure to check out that. Right up here on the top of the backpack is a non-negotiable for me. This is my Chair 0.5. This is something basically that I created. It's the mix of a Helinox Chair 0 and a Helinox Chair 1, and as you can see on the outside, it is wrapped up in a Light AF Dyneema stuff sack. Next up right here, this is important. Before I get any further, I'm not really a weight weenie. I don't care about grams and ounces. I really just try and keep it fairly lightweight, but I'm a very big fan of comfort when I'm going on a trip. And I always bring some form of butt pad when I go out. I actually set this in my seat, especially because it got down into the 30s this weekend when we were in Virginia, so it was great to have this to sit on, added for some extra insulation from my backside, and that's really nice. So as we start getting into the front pocket here, you're gonna notice this right away. This is my Outdoor Research Illuminate hoodie. I found this on sale. As you can see all the feathers popping up all over the place. I got this for a trip I was taking in February to Wisconsin. It's made with 800 fill down. It probably weighs in about 12, 13 ounces, but it's an extremely warm jacket for the weight, and it packs really well, and love the jacket. Definitely kept me warm this weekend when the temperatures got down into the 30s, so I'm a big fan of this jacket. Next is my med kit. I've already done a review on this, so if you're to look through my videos, you'll find a review on my med kit. Nothing's really changed on it. So I always have that in my front pocket so I have access to it when I'm hiking and I don't have to dig down into my pack to find it. Let's see what we got in here now. Oh, this is the poop kit, the all-important poop kit. It's also a hygiene kit for me. I also keep like my toothbrush and stuff in a separate baggie in here. Listen, I'm not gonna keep my toothbrush outside of a baggie in with a poop trowel. That's just dumb. Just like my med kit, I try to keep this in the front pocket on my backpack so that if nature comes calling, I can get to this without trying real hard during a hike. This is my Hammock Suspension and my ridgeline for my tarp. This is in a bag made by what is now called Trailcraft. Also my good friend Miyagi, who made this. He was actually on the trip with me. I've been using this since last, I think November, December. But this is an awesome little bag that he's making. When I get to camp, the first thing I like to do is get my ridgeline up for my tarp, get my tarp hung, so if it's raining or anything, I can at least have the tarp set up and work underneath it to get everything else set up. So I always keep my ridgeline and my hammock suspension right there in that front pocket. Makes it easy to get to those so that I can get them set up. Let's see, we get down in here, let's see what we got. It was actually rolled up inside the backpack, but this is my UGQ Winter Dream tarp. Again, I knew it was gonna get cold and there's a chance of it being windy, so I really wanted to bring a tarp that had doors, so if it got too windy, I could have the tarp there and be able to keep the wind out. Always keep this again in the front pocket on my backpack, so when I get to camp, if it happens to be raining, I can get this tarp up quickly so that I can get everything else done underneath it nice and dry. Now that we're done with the front pocket, we've gotten the satellite communicator off the top. I use these compression straps every time I go out backpacking. So right here, I've got a Life water bottle. It's a 1 liter Life water bottle. Also in here is my sack that has all of my guy lines and my stakes to put up my tarp. Also in here are these lovely things right here. These are just some spreader bars for my tarp. Now, if I'm doing a really long trip and weight is gonna matter, these aren't coming with me. But if I'm looking for just more of a comfortable hike, these will go with me every time. These help to spread out the walls of my tarp to make it a little wider on the sides, give me some room to walk. We come to the other side, you can see here I've got my Joby Gorillapod, which oddly enough, I didn't even use this at all on my trip when I did any videos, so I may not even be taking this on my next one, but I always try and keep that right here so I've got access to it if I need to take any shots while I'm hiking or I find a really beautiful spot and I want to catch some video or anything. I like to have something like this nearby so I can do that. Also down here, we got another Smart Water bottle. This is just a 20-ounce bottle. This usually is on my chest, but I got down to 1 liter of water the last night, so I just threw that in my chest pocket, which you'll see here in a second. Also down in here, I keep my water kit. So I've got my Sawyer Squeeze, I've got some drops for cleaning up the water if I can't find good water and my filter goes to crap. I've also got a Canuck bag in here, a filter bag, which big fan of the Canuck bags. Always done a really good job for me, but I always keep that right here in the side pocket. I also like to keep a little leaf in the side pocket. So we come up here to the straps. You can see I've got an Essential water bottle, which I'm really becoming a big fan of these. They're not quite as tall, a little wider, a little more comfortable in the hand, and honestly, I hate when my water bottles stand out too tall in my pocket, so I'm a really big fan of these. And then over here you can see I've got my camera clip. This is a camera clip I think I got for like 25 or 30 bucks. Works just the same. You can clip your camera directly onto it. It holds in place. That's not going anywhere. So I'm a big fan of this right here. So if we get into the hip belt straps, you can see that I've got my Nightcore NU25, I believe, headlamp. It's a good headlamp. I really like it. It's super lightweight. The strap on it was a little heavy, so I took my Black Diamond Spot strap, which was actually lighter than the Nightcore one, and threw it on here, but I always keep that in that hip belt pocket, so if I'm hiking at night, I can get to it easy. I don't have to try and find my electronics bag down inside of my backpack. It's just right there where I can get to it pretty easy. On the other side, we have the important stuff, which I never ate these on this one. Usually I eat these, but I got some Welch's fruit snacks that I like to keep with me at all times. A little boost of energy. Just a big fan. They're easy to eat, and they're like one of my favorite snacks regardless, so I'm a big fan of these. All right, so now we're gonna get down into the pack itself and start seeing what's down in here. So we're gonna open this up, and the first thing I'm gonna pull out are my nasty stank nasty Nike flip-flops. I've been wearing these for years. I used to buy a pair of these every single year. They're really lightweight, and for me, when I get to camp at night, if it's not too cold, I like to let my feet air out, get the socks off, get the shoes off, throw these on, and just walk around. Whew, that was dirty. Directly underneath that, I've got my Tyvek ground sheet. This is the same one I've been using for a couple years now. I've been using this under my hammock just to set my backpack on and different items on so that if it does happen to rain and the ground gets a little wet, this just protects my stuff from getting nasty. Also underneath that is the good old JK is Hiking Dyneema bear bag that I got from Hilltop Packs. I love this bag, and big fan of having this with me when I go on trips, especially longer ones. Usually the last day after breakfast, I go ahead and I throw my garbage bag in here as well. That way I can just keep everything in one place. I don't have to go hunting for it. Everything's in here. The only reason it's still so big right now is because I've got a frying pan in here. Woo! Stinks in here. Okay, so if you look here, I always use a trash compactor bag. This just allows me to have some extra waterproof protection for my gear that I don't want to get wet. The stuff that's in here, I just can't afford to get it wet, so I always put one of these in here. This Dyneema is great for keeping water out, like on light rains and things, but when it gets heavy, I know for a fact, I've been out with it, water's getting in. So I always make sure I have a trash compactor bag in here just to keep my stuff dry. This is my camera bag. I've got camera strap, couple extra batteries. I've got the lens cover for my lens on my camera. I know you're probably thinking, why don't you have that out? This little thing is for an ND filter. I usually keep the ND filter on my camera at all times, and that ND filter kind of works as a cover for my lens, which protects my lens. The ND filter itself is not a real expensive one, so I'm not freaking out if anything really bad happens to it. But I do keep all of my camera stuff in this little bag here. As you can see, it's really high tech. It's made of a plastic polymer that doesn't let water in. It's also called a Ziploc bag. Up next, this is my electronics bag. I love this bag. I've showed this before. This has my kids in it. And I got this from Hilltop Packs also. It's my daughter Ellie and my son Jack. And I've got a battery pack in here. I've got some headphones, a couple charging cables, and my hang time hook inside of this. Normally, I would keep my raincoat in the front pocket of my backpack. But because there was a 2% chance of rain on Sunday when we got done, I decided to just go ahead and throw this in the backpack and not worry about it. I always bring my raincoat with me, and usually I have it in the front pocket so that if it does rain, again, easy access, can pull it out and I'm ready to go. Next up is my clothing bag. As you can see, it's not very big. I have an extra shirt in here. I have an extra pair of socks. I have a pair of tights in case it gets really cold, and one extra pair of underwear, and that is it. Don't really bring a lot of extra clothes when I go on trips. Typically, what I'm wearing is what I'm gonna hike in, and if I need to be a little warmer, I might put something in the front pocket, but everything else is just this little bag right here. Sometimes I don't even bring just in case clothes. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna deal with what I got and I'll wear what I've got on. Next up down in here is my hammock. This is the Dream Hammock Darien. I've been using this since last October. So this has been an awesome hammock for me. Probably doing a 1-year gear review on this probably in the next month or two. Dream Hammock Darien, love it. Next up is the Nemo Philo Pillow. Now you're probably wondering, why do I have all this stuff around it? It's really simple. Things that I like to do with my hammock is I like to take my pillow and have this hanging off of my ridgeline. So I've got this right here. I love the Nemo Philo Pillow because, as you can see, that's just a soft foam. I don't even blow this up at all. I just lay my head on the foam in my hammock. Nemo Philo Pillow, it's heavy, it's not ultralight. I doubt it's even lightweight, but I like it. Up next is the important stuff. This is my 40-degree Underquilt from UGQ Outdoors, and I am a huge fan of this guy. There is a review coming up really soon because I took this 40-degree quilt into 34-degree temperatures, and I was sleeping in an oven. It was so warm. But I always just take my quilts and I just stuff them down into the bottom of my pack. That allows these to just kind of fill up some extra space as opposed to having stuff sacks where everything is like compartmentalized. I really like just stuffing these down on the bottom because it makes it so much easier to fill up the pack. For me, I like my pack feeling like it's full. It rides better that way, and so I just shove it down in there. And finally, the last thing that's down in here is my Enlightened Equipment Revelation 20 quilt. I've been using this since 2018. Huge fan of this quilt. This past weekend I kept the foot box nice and closed up, and I slept without socks on in 34-degree weather, and my feet never got cold. It was beautiful. This was a great quilt. And again, I like to shove this down into the bottom of the backpack just to fill up space. Better balance, rides better that way. So there it is. That's how I pack up for a 3-day backpacking trip. I would love for you to leave some comments below. Let me know how you guys pack up when you guys go out into the woods. Also, if you like the video, give it the thumbs up. And like I said before, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you find out anytime one of these videos drops. You can also check me out on Instagram right up here. You can find pictures from my upcoming trips that I go on. You can also see updates of upcoming podcasts for the Backpacking Podcast with myself and Jeremiah Stringer. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay strong, hike long, and I'll catch you on the next go-around. After I spit halfway across the screen here. So without further ado, man, it's heavier than I thought. Okay. Is right here, this satellite Compression straps. They're called compression straps. I've got a 1 liter bottle. This is a Life water bottle. Well, let's do that again. Okay, if we come up here to the front of the pack, or the back of the pack, sorry, I always use a trash compactor bag. Garbage, yeah. I always make sure I put a garbage compactor. Quick talk.